Hey Shaw, I said I'd make you a video on how I make onigiri. So I've got everything set up. You can see ingredients, stuff. I have everything ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and start showing you how I make the onigiri. I'm just gonna go through the whole process and not just the filling, because I know I said my filling was different, but I figured I'd just go through the whole thing as if I was showing somebody who doesn't know, that way in case, for convenience sake, I could show this video to somebody else. So for starters, I have my rice here, and I need to soak it. And since I'm gonna go through this as showing somebody who's never known how to make onigiri, I don't know if you can see quite, but this is proper grains for rice. They're kind of short, they're kind of fat, and the reason you can tell these rice from other rices that aren't proper for like sushi or onigiri or sticky rice in general is because most rice is longer grain and they're kind of thin. And jasmine rice, I think, is like that. Rice from Italy is kind of like that, but this is it's specifically designated. This is the kind of rice I get. Sushi rice, premium grade nishiki, and I just get this from my local grocery store. They have a section where you can buy foreign foods, and this is the kind of rice they have there, so I just buy this. I think it's like $6 for this thing, and yeah, 2 pounds for $6. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. This is actually the last of my rice, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I do next. Take a bowl like this, and I have about a cup and a fourth or cup and a third. It's kind of hard to tell, but usually I use a cup and a half, but since this is all I have left, I'll just go with this. And this is important because it determines how much water you should boil it in. So we have, alright, I'm gonna go with a cup and a third. Usually I add half a cup more rice than for like water. So since this is a cup and a third, I'd add like, what's a half cup plus a third? We'll just do a cup and a half and then 3/4. Alright, well, it shows you, whatever. Add the rice in here. Then, I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear me over this, so I might just add like subtitles or something. So, turn the water on. Then you want to fill the bowl up and rinse the rice out. I just kind of mix it in with my fingers because I feel like it's easier. And then it's going to get really cloudy like this. After you wash it a little bit, rinse it out, drain the water, and then do it again. And I kind of want to scoop it with my fingers so that I'm sure that the rice on the bottom gets clean too. And it's going to still be kind of cloudy like this. I know I'm doing it on the wrong side, but I usually drain it to my right anyway. I just want to make sure none of the rice is going to fall out. Because I like to save each in particular grain, because you lose a lot in the onigiri making process. And then once more, this is the last time I'm going to rinse it. You can see the water is a lot clearer now. It's a little bit milky still, but this is the last time we're going to rinse it out. Just drain that out again. Try and make sure all the rice stays in the bowl because I want as much as possible. And then you just fill up the bowl again. Make sure the rice, all of it, is covered. So this is how it's going to look afterwards. A lot clearer now. It's not crystal clear, but it's clearer. And if you see any bits in there that are kind of brown, those are like shells, I guess, of the rice. You want to pick those out if they're floating. They usually are. So that's how you prep the rice. You wash it, you drain it, you wash it, you drain it, you wash it, you drain it, and then you let it to soak. It has to soak for 15 minutes. So I'll actually be back in another 15 minutes, and I'll just leave it here so you can watch it. You can't see it from this angle. Hold on. There you go. Now you can watch the rice, and I'm gonna go, I don't know, do something else. Hello. I think you can kind of see me. I don't know. There you go. Alright. You can see how the rice has been doing. And it's actually time to move on to the next step, which is where we need to begin boiling the water for it. And I went ahead and measured out the water, what I needed. A cup and 3/4. Just pour that into here. Turn it on high. Easy peasy. Everybody should know how to boil water. And I don't actually have a lid for this. What I do have over here, I have a crock pot with a lid that fits exactly on top. So that's what I'll be using. This actually has to soak for like another 5 or so minutes. But I'm gonna, shut up. It's a little wet on the bottom because I cleaned it earlier. So I'm gonna let you go back to staring at the rice. Oops. This wants to maybe cooperate. Hello. Alright. The water's boiling. I turned it on low so it won't boil out. We need to drain the rice now. So I'll just get the water out. Come on, cooperate. Alright. Okay. So now we need to get our utensil. I'm gonna set this up. Add the rice to the boiling water. And the amount of water you have should cover all the rice that you add. There, you can see. And I'm going to put this back on and raise the heat just a little bit. Alright. That part is over. Now we get on to the other stuff. I'm gonna have to there. Okay, so I have my ingredients. Key ingredient is canned tuna. I use Bumblebee in water. I've done it in oil and it sucks. I hate it. Mayonnaise. This is light. It's a little bit sweeter. I only like Kraft, but the light mayo tastes a little bit like Miracle Whip, which I don't like. But I decided just to get a lighter version, and it's not too bad, especially since it's Kraft. You're gonna need some soy sauce, and this is the one that I get. It's in the same place where I buy the sushi the foreign aisle, and this is just organic soy sauce from Kikkoman. Then you're gonna need some seasonings. This is salt, this is pepper, whatever. And then this is the other thing I use, which is sort of optional, is imitation crab meat. Now, there it is. Alright. First things first, I'm gonna have to crack open this tuna. And I usually use 2 cans, but then I end up making too much, so this time I'm just gonna use 1. And now my cat smells the tuna and she's coming to meow at me. Hi, Chico. Come here. Yeah. You say hi to the camera? Say hi, Chico. Hey, Chico. There you go. I'll give you some tuna later. So now we're gonna drain it. Drain tuna. I'm gonna get as much liquid out as possible, because you want your ingredients to be mostly dry in the onigiri, because if they're wet, hi Chico. Yes, I know you want tuna. I'll give you some in a second. If your ingredients are too wet, they'll moisten the rice and it'll fall apart. Let me appease her. Yes, yes, yes. There you go, there's some tuna. I should probably give her a little more food. Alright, so now you're gonna take our tuna and put it in the bowl. Then you should have canned tuna. Now we need to add the other stuff. I don't know what order I usually go in. I think I usually add the mayo first. The mayo you add, I think roughly a tablespoon per can, but I usually just kind of go off the eye. Like, I'm gonna use this much. If you need a little bit more or you want a little bit less, you can start with different amounts. I'm just gonna mix that in there. And I want a creamy texture, but I don't want it to be mushy, because I still want a little bit of tuna texture. Canned tuna has a completely different texture than like raw tuna fish. Like if you go and buy real tuna from the market or from the store, whatever. Really, Chico? If you go buy tuna from there, it'll be like completely different cooked than canned tuna is. Then add a little bit of salt and pepper. And when you add salt, add a little bit less than what you might want, because soy sauce is really salty. So I got just a little bit right now. Gonna add a nice healthy portion of soy sauce. You can see. I'm gonna mix that in. I want it to taste salty and soy-y, but not too salty, which is why I add less salt than normal, because then I have the soy sauce. And you can add a little bit more pepper and salt and soy sauce if you want to. You'll have to taste it to see how you like it. Meow indeed. Alright, so here's a little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and taste it. Tastes good to me. It's really soy saucy. It might be a little bit too much. It might be a little bit too much, but that's okay since when it's in the onigiri, it'll kind of mellow it down because you'll have a mouthful of rice. So I'm gonna put all this stuff away. I'm also gonna double check and see what time it is. So, I got the rice out and put it in the water at like 103, and it's 110 now. It needs to cook for about 20 minutes. So at like 123 is probably when I'll come and check it. I mean, just because it needs to boil for about 20 minutes doesn't mean it's gonna be done in those 20 minutes. Loco, you're on camera. Loco. You want attention and then you don't want any attention. Alright. Last things last. I need to get this out. So this is usually what I put in onigiri. And when I have a few spare extra bucks or if I just want to add this. This adds a sweetness to it that's really good. It coincides with the, or not coincides, counteracts the soy sauce. And yeah, I'm using a bread knife, whatever, sue me. So just open it up. This is actually one of the few knives I have that are sharp. So I'm going to use that. Yeah. Alright. And how much are we going to need for this? I got strips because I thought they'd be easier to cut. I just have to put this in. I hope I'm going to have enough time to do the setup because I still need to get the nori out. So let's start with just these two. Put this back in the fridge. Anything I should, I'll just leave out for now. Actually, since this isn't in a big hurry, I'm gonna put this aside for the moment and make sure I have, I'm gonna put this over here, and make sure I have enough time to get everything ready for when the rice is actually done. So I'm gonna need to get a plate out. Put that here. Oh crap. Hold on. The dish I usually put my nori in is behind the camera. I can get it. Alright, there we go. Get the lid. There we go. And here's my nori. A long time ago, this actually came in a resealable bag. Same place I got the rice, same place I got the soy sauce, for an aisle. This had its own bag and it was ziplocked, and I ended up burning it on one of the stove eyes because it was hot and I didn't notice. And so I just put it in a plastic bag, and I noticed this was in there to keep it dry because if this stuff dampens up, it gets kind of hard to use. So I just left that in there and it seemed to be perfectly fine. I'm going to put the rice on this when it gets done. I'm going to put the onigiri in there. And I'm going to need a little plate. Put this in. I have some pre-cut strips for when I made it in the past and I had too much. I just put them back in the bag. I don't think I have enough, though. Just to be safe, I'm gonna cut some. Let me check the time. Alright, we got like 6 minutes. Scissors. So I got one of the strips here. And there's some, I don't know if you can tell, but there's some like printing creases you might be able to see. And I used to cut along those. Actually, one of these is kind of fudged up. I used to cut along those for general thickness purposes. And that kind of helps, except on the edge they kind of thin out. So just cut it across. And you can use a knife if you want to. I've just found this so much easier. Like, I actually did use it with a knife, but since all my knives are so dull, that it didn't help me at all. And to the point where I ended up having to go find a knife that wasn't a kitchen knife just to get these things cut in clean enough lines. And then I decided just to use these scissors. This one's a little screwed. You can eat nori like this. It's fine. It'll swell up in your mouth though, which I kind of like. It tastes good. I'm just gonna put the rest of this away. Alright. So I got this. We're actually gonna need that salt back. This was something I remember you saying where you had a problem with the rice sticking to your hand. Sean in particular, not anybody else that might be watching. And I figured out, or I learned, that you wet your hands and then you put salt in them and it'll keep them from sticking, but you have to keep rinsing your hands and you have to keep adding salt. And it goes through your salt really quick, but it's kind of worth it in the end. I'm just going to turn you over here so you can see how the rice is doing. It's got those bubbles. And there's not that much water left, which means it's going to be done in a little bit. So let's get this cut up. See if you can see it from there. You can kind of see it. Cut it into little bitty bits. I think this amount will probably make 4 onigiri if you give them generous helping, which I do because I'm very greedy. Alright, so I think one of these would have been enough because this is a lot. Kind of sticky. But I'll just go ahead and make as much as possible just in case I want more.